What is up, everybody? We're on day 187 of our Bible in a Year series, continuing on in Proverbs today, the book of wisdom. And I think it's worth pointing out, I actually had a post I saw, I think it was yesterday. Now, it might be not entirely right because my days are kind of running together. I have had something like an hour of sleep in the last 48. Um, yes, it was yesterday. So it was the first day of Proverbs, and then I happened to see this on X. Ruslan, if anyone's familiar with him, posted reminder: Proverbs are principles, not promises. So this is a good point to bring up. Proverbs are it's a book of wisdom. It is a book that, generally speaking, if you do these things, you'll have these things. You'll have these good things happen. Um, as a generality, it's not a guarantee that every single time you do this, you're going to have this outcome. Nothing like that. It is. They are generalities. Typically, as an example, if you want to be if you want to have friends, you be friendly. Most of the time, that works for most of the people, but not every instance is going to be the same. Um, so, just I thought that was a good mention there. And yeah, so let's jump into it today. Proverbs 4 is where we're starting off. Listen, sons, to a father's discipline and pay attention so that you may gain understanding, for I am giving you good instruction. Don't abandon my teaching. When I was a son with my father, tender and precious to my mother, he taught me and said, your heart must hold on to my words. Keep my commands and live. Get wisdom, get understanding. Don't forget or turn away from the words from my mouth. Don't abandon wisdom, and she will watch over you. Love her, and she will guard you. Wisdom is supreme, so get wisdom, and whatever else you get understanding. Cherish her, and she will exalt you. If you embrace her, she will honor you. She will place a garland of favor on your head. She will give you a crown of beauty. Listen, my son, accept my words, and you will live many years. I am teaching you the way of wisdom. I am guiding you on straight paths. When you walk, your steps will not be hindered. When you run, you will not stumble. Hold on to instruction, don't let go. Guard it, for it is your life. Keep off the path of the wicked. Don't proceed on the way of evil ones. Avoid it, don't travel on it. Turn away from it and pass by it, for they can't sleep unless they have done what is evil. They are robbed of sleep unless they make someone stumble. They eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. The path of the righteous is like the light of dawn, shining brighter and brighter until midday. But the way of the wicked is like the darkest gloom. They don't know what makes them stumble. My son, pay attention to my words. Listen closely to my sayings. Don't lose sight of them. Keep them within your heart, for they are life to those who find them, and health to one's whole body. Guard your heart above all else, for it is the source of life. Don't let your mouth speak dishonestly. Don't let your lips talk deviously. Let your eyes look forward. Fix your gaze straight ahead. Carefully consider the path, for your feet and all your ways will be established. Don't turn to the right or to the left. Keep your feet away from evil. Now, remember, this is Solomon writing to future sons, um, future children. And so this is a father handing down wisdom. And I mentioned yesterday we see um, both wisdom and um, wickedness, I guess you could say, like personified, talked about as a woman. So we're going to get into that second part today. Chapter 5. My son, pay attention to my wisdom. Listen closely to my understanding, so that you may maintain discretion, and your lips safeguard knowledge. Though the lips of the forbidden woman drip honey, and her words are smoother than oil, in the end she's as bitter as wormwood, and as sharp as a double edged sword. Her feet go down to death, her steps head straight for Sheol. She doesn't consider the path of life, she doesn't know that her ways are unstable. So now, sons, listen to me, and don't turn away from the words from my mouth. Keep your way far from her. Don't go near the door of her house, otherwise, you will give up your vitality to others and your years to someone cruel. Strangers will drain your resources, and your hard earned pay will end up in a foreigner's house. At the end of your life, you will lament when your physical body has been consumed, and you will say, how I hate discipline, and how my heart despised correction. I didn't obey my teachers or listen closely to my instructors. I am on the verge of complete ruin before the entire community. Drink water from your own cistern, water flowing from your own well. Should your springs flow in the streets, streams in the public squares, they should be for you alone and not for you to share with strangers. Let your fountain be blessed, and take pleasure in the wife of your youth, a loving deer, a graceful doe. Let her breasts always satisfy you. Be lost in her love forever. Why, my son, would you lose yourself with a forbidden woman, or embrace a wayward woman? For a man's ways are before the Lord's eyes, and he considers all his paths. A wicked man's iniquities will trap him. He will become tangled in the ropes of his own sin. He will die because there is no discipline, and be lost because of his great stupidity. Now, I think you can see there is a lot of truth in this. The idea of being oh, content with what you have, enjoying, realizing the blessing that it is. So he's talking to his son here, realizing the blessing that it is, the wife that you have, and not being giving in to the desire to look for other things elsewhere. Yeah, it's it's a lot of very simple stuff. It seems very simple, seems very practical, but it's a lot of stuff that I do think, as a general rule of thumb, following the wisdom that is outlined in Proverbs will benefit you in your life in general. So, chapter 6. My son, if you have put up security for your neighbor, or entered into an agreement with a stranger, you have been snared by the words of your mouth, trapped by the words from your mouth. Do this, then, my son, and for yourself, for you have put yourself in your neighbor's power. Go, humble yourself, and plead with your neighbor. Don't give sleep to your eyes, or slumber to your eyelids. Escape like a gazelle from a hunter, like a bird from a hunter's trap. Go to the ant, you slacker, observe its ways, and become wise. Without leader, administrator, or ruler, it prepares its provisions in summer. It gathers its food during harvest. How long will you stay in bed, you slacker? When will you get up from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the arms to rest, and your poverty will come like a robber, your need like a bandit. A worthless person, a wicked man, goes around speaking dishonestly, winking his eyes, signaling with his feet, and gesturing with his fingers. He always plots evil with perversity in his heart. He stirs up trouble. Therefore, calamity will strike him suddenly. He will be shattered instantly beyond recovery. The Lord hates 6 things. In fact, 7 are detestable to him: arrogant eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that plots wicked schemes, feet eager to run to evil, a lying witness who gives false testimony, and one who stirs up trouble among brothers. My son, keep your father's command, and don't reject your mother's teaching. Go back to that real quick. 7 things it says the Lord finds detestable, and then he lists them out there. Read through that. Think about yourself. Is there anything that stands out? Verse 21. Always bind them to your heart, tie them around your neck. When you walk here and there, they will guide you. When you lie down, they will watch over you. When you wake up, they will talk to you. For a command is a lamp, teaching is a sight, and corrective discipline is the way of life. They will protect you from an evil woman, from the flattering tongue of a wayward woman. Don't lust in your heart for her beauty, or let her captivate you with her eyelashes. For a prostitute's fee is only a loaf of bread, but the wife of another man goes after a precious life. Can a man embrace fire and his clothes not be burned? Can a man walk on burning coals without scorching his feet? So it is with the one who sleeps with another man's wife. No one who touches her will go unpunished. People don't despise the thief if he steals to satisfy himself when he is hungry. Still, if caught, he must pay 7 times as much. He must give up all the wealth in his house. The one who commits adultery lacks sense. Whoever does so destroys himself. Whoever does so destroys himself. He will get a beating and dishonor, and his disgrace will never be removed. For jealousy enrages a husband, and he will show no mercy when he takes revenge. He will not be appeased by anything or be persuaded by lavish bribes. So interesting little tidbit. Recently I said I've been up for I've slept maybe an hour in the last 48 hours. But I've done a good bit of driving that time too, and listening to a lot of stuff. And there's a podcast I was listening to. I don't remember what the podcast was called. I had not seen it before. I happened to watch it because Joshua Lewis was a guest on it. But he mentioned talking about eldership and how he said, at least for him, he does not see a way in his church, if it was someone in his church and they had committed adultery, he does not see that they could ever be an elder in their church again. And he brings up this passage here in Proverbs 6. I guess you can't see where my mouse is. Verse 33 says, I'll start with 32. The one who commits adultery lacks sense. Whoever does so destroys himself. 33. He will get a beating and dishonor, and his disgrace will never be removed. That is an interesting little tidbit. Disgrace will never be removed. And so that's where he pulls from, and he says if someone has, as a believer, commits adultery, then he would say he doesn't think that they can be. He would say that, at least in his church, he would not let them be an elder. Which is, I don't know if I disagree, but yeah. Let's get to the questions though. Question 1. Proverbs 4:23 says, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." What does it mean to guard your heart, and how can we do this faithfully in everyday life? This would be, I've brought this up before, this idea, and this kind of goes more guarding your mind, but I think they can go hand in hand. So you can't stop a bird from landing on your head, but you can stop him from building a nest, right? You can't stop a thought, like a fleeting thought that just pops in your head. You're not dwelling on it. You're not looking for it. It just, boom, pops in there. Everybody has them. And you will have some bad ones. You'll have some really bad ones. But it's just a thought like that. It's there. Now, dwelling on that is where you run into trouble. If you get rid of that, as soon as it's in your head, as soon as the thought registers, you're pushing it out, you're praying against it. I know this is not of God. This is my flesh. This has been sacrificed. This is not me. I'm a new creation. And, start going into this, getting the thought out of your head. That is guarding your mind. That is guarding your heart. Not letting this stuff take root. Not letting it have a foot in the door. If you are adamant about that and you stick with fighting against that before it ever has a chance to be anything, then chances are it's not ever going to be anything, or it has a lot less likely chance of becoming something. I think we see that a lot with, at least now, depending on when you're watching this, but there's a lot of charismatic leaders that have been outed for a lot of sexual sin and stuff recently. And I think this is a lot of what it is. They let their guard down. They were not guarding their hearts against this type of thing. Question 2. Proverbs 5 warns about the seductive pull of sin, particularly through the image of adultery. How can we develop a deeper love for God that helps us resist the appeal of short term pleasure? I think having an understanding, and so this is something I really started wrapping my head around dealing with addiction. Um, Lust always overpromises and underdelivers. Always. Always, 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 always. There's never an exception to that. It always overpromises and it always underdelivers. And so if you know that, even if you are like in the moment you're fighting against this, you have a thought pop in your head, you're trying to get rid of it, you're trying to not give into this temptation, having that knowledge and knowing, and even knowing like there's, you've done this before, you've gone down this path before, it's not ever what it seems like it's going to be. It's always less, and it always ends up being much more painful and hurting more than what you plan in the moment. Trying to keep your head grounded in that, at least that was helpful for me. But digging in, seeking God, asking God to, like we see in Psalm 37, I think, God will give you the desires of your heart. Ask God to give you what your heart should desire. That's what that passage is saying. It's not saying that God's going to give you whatever you want. It's saying that God's going to put the desires in your heart that should be there. So ask God for that. Ask God to remove the things that are not of Him. To show you what you can do to start getting rid of that stuff, to start living in life that is more pleasing to Him. That's a really practical way to start, but that's it. Question 3. Proverbs 6 speaks of God's hatred for certain sins, especially those that sow discord. What does this reveal about the seriousness of our actions and the kind of community God desires among His people? Yes, this was one. All of these, I think they can really stick out, but the idea that sowing discord is one of these that God detests. Not something He kind of doesn't like or He would prefer you not do. These are things that God detests. He hates these things. And so as Christians, we should hate these things too. So I think you can see a lot of these things that are mentioned in this list in churches. We need to be actively looking for and trying to call out and stop these things in our churches. We need to build healthy communities. It's all kinds of stuff like this. If it really genuinely go through that list and think about your own life, think about ways that maybe you don't do this right, and try to remove it. Try to do better. Ask God to show you ways that you are falling short on this. Like genuinely, just if you get in, you ask Him to show you ways that you are falling short and show you ways that you can improve that. I don't know why He wouldn't. If you're genuinely wanting that, He will do it. He will do it. But that is it for today. Appreciate everyone watching and listening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I enjoy reading comments as much as I can. Sorry I blinked for a minute. Again, I'm very tired. I'm spacing. But appreciate comments. And love interacting with people as much as I can. So feel free, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If this has been a blessing to you, share it with others. Word of mouth's the best way the podcast spread, so you can help somebody else get in and get stick with the daily Bible reading plan and help this podcast grow as well. So 2 birds, 1 stone. It's a great way to be. Double whammy. Tomorrow we'll be back in Proverbs again. We'll be continuing on and more good stuff. Proverbs is it's really, really good. I think underrated book, very practical wisdom. A lot of it's pretty easy to apply. It's just very practical, very, very practical stuff. So we'll be continuing on in Proverbs tomorrow. Good stuff. Can't wait to see you then. Thanks. God bless.